What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about content creation and becoming a full-time content creator. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about some of the high and low points of being a treasure hunter and trying to be a full-time content creator. So if you think about full-time content creators, who comes to mind for you right out of the gate? I would love for you to comment below. It doesn't have to be somebody in the treasure niche. If it is, that's fine. If it's not, it could be somebody like Casey Neistat or a famous vlogger. Just let me know in the comments below who you think of when you think of full-time content creator. So right out of the gate, though, I do want to say this: if you are in the treasure niche, it is much harder to become a full-time content creator for one reason, and that particular reason is that we're not just talking head videos. We're not sitting behind a computer or behind a screen like I'm doing right now, talking to a camera. We are literally depending upon finding stuff in the ground. And we can't read the ground. We don't know what's in the ground unless we put it there. And sadly, there are some people that do that, but we're not one of those channels. So we are going out depending on finding something in the ground. And there again, we can't tell the future. We don't have x-ray vision. We have to just put our nose to the grindstone and get to it as hard as we can and hope that we get enough content. It's really hard when you're doing a 9-to-5 job like I do myself to only have a Saturday to go dig and then a Sunday to edit or something like that. And so you start trying to film after work, and you start trying to film before work, and you start trying to film a little bit at night. And you start getting into this rhythm of you're like, man, I just got to gather content and bring it in from all sides. And a lot of times it takes 3 or 4 days of either afternoons or Saturdays to compile a 12 to 15 minute video for myself. Now, some people may be in a lot more treasure loaded areas than what I am, but we have been successful enough, like I said, to accrue almost 1 million followers. And that has been because of just sheer determination. In the beginning days, we were trying to search all the treasure sites that were between where I work and where I live at home. So I'd have to drive from work to home, and I would either hit a creek, I would hit a field, I would go dig in a dump, I would do whatever to try to get a video. Well, as time has moved on over the last decade that I've been doing this, all of the sites that were close to home are almost out. So I've started spiraling my search outward, a little bit further and a little bit further. So in the beginning, I could drive 30 minutes and I would have a good site to dig. Then I could drive an hour and I'd have an okay site to dig. And now we're pushing 2 to 3 hours sometimes to drive to get to a good area to go search for good treasure. So there again, that limits it. If you get off work at 5 o'clock and you have to drive 2 hours to go film a video, obviously that doesn't make sense. That limits you to a Saturday. So how do you keep the consistency up and making good content week after week? Well, I personally have been at my job long enough. I have 4 weeks vacation. And if you have enough determination and you're willing to really pursue this as a career, you're kind of willing to go and put your vacation out there on the line and use it to work and film. Thankfully, I enjoy filming and I enjoy searching for treasure, so I don't look at it as work. But I usually spend 2 weeks of my vacation each year just out getting video content. It's not at the beach. It's not in California. It's not on a cruise. I'm literally digging a giant hole or out metal detecting or dying in the heat or freezing to death, but I'm having a blast doing it. But I'm willing to sacrifice my vacation to keep the consistency of the videos coming, to keep my video audience fed. So that brings out the point of supply and demand. The treasure niche is one of the hardest niches because of how hard it is to supply the demand of your audience. So I have worked so hard over the last several years on trying to become more diverse and not just be the bottle guy. Even though most people know me as that guy, I've tried to do more metal detecting, magnet fishing, fossil hunting, and it has helped me out tremendously by not having to drive as far to find one particular type of site. And that's all strategic movements that I've made in time. Now, is your audience going to swallow that new type of treasure hunting automatically? Probably not. In my beginning days, I was only digging antique bottles. So I was only digging giant holes with my crew. We were not getting in the rivers and searching for bottles. But in time, I realized really quickly that we were going to run out of dump grounds to dig in if I didn't do something different. So my buddy introduced me into creek walking, aka mudlarking, for anybody that may be overseas. And we started to develop an audience based upon river treasure and mudlarking, to where it became one of our more prominent style of videos that we were making. So then I didn't have to find a dump site. I just had to find a waterway that had old glass in it. And that took a lot of pressure off of me as a creator. Sadly, though, all of the waterways that I'm at, we have almost cleared out. So we are there again, spiraling out further and further with our water hunts. So In time, we decided to add more metal detecting. And the metal detecting has been fantastic, but again, with such a crowded niche and such a fun hobby, a lot of sites have been pounded extremely hard, and it is very hard to get permissions whenever you door knock, at least in our area. So it is a very, very difficult situation to continue to supply the demand to your audience just based off of locations alone. Not to mention the time. Humans as a whole, in my opinion, our biggest adversary is time and having enough of it. And I personally stretch my time just as far as I possibly can, and it's still not enough. So I have been working really hard the last week or so to build out a schedule for the rest of the year. And I would encourage you as a creator, if this is something you're going to do, to build a schedule, set yourself a few goals, and then stick to it. And even if you do not find what you don't want to find in the ground, if you want to find something amazing and you don't, find a way to make it educational, find a way to make that video fun, find a way to make it where people will still watch it, and that will help take the pressure off of yourself. So I got into this really bad rat race of just trying to find amazing stuff a few years ago, and the more pressure I put on myself, the fewer items I found. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm going to make videos out hunting because this is real treasure hunting. And slowly but surely, a lot of people came into the comments and they're like, you know what, I know you didn't find a lot, but I still enjoyed your video and I still learned something today. And that was enough for my audience to keep coming back. And I have continued to grow, even though I release videos some weeks that don't produce a ton of finds. I don't like producing those videos, but in my opinion, it's better than being not consistent, because there again, your audience is depending on you to supply their demand or what they're wanting to consume, which is your content. So that is a couple of things that you guys need to think about. That is some of the things that I personally have been thinking about more and more, is how to find more sites more local than where I've been having to hunt recently, and to find areas that are easier to get content. I wish I could do more talking head stuff like I'm doing right now over on my main channel, but I just can't. People don't seem to respond that as well as if we're out in the woods and actually in the field. That's why we created this second channel, so I could do stuff like this and talk about it and have a good time with you guys in the audience. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Are you running into the same things? Fellow treasure hunters, are you starting to run out of ground like I am? Are you having to go further and further away? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. We'll see you guys in the next video.